This is my new necklace design. And here it is, beaded up in Christmas colors. Very nice. And this is a different color scheme that we're going to make today in our video. This is pink and white, also very nice. And this is the necklace made with blue and AB crystals. So let's talk about the materials that we're going to need. For this necklace, you're going to need 11 4mm crystals and 12 6mm crystals. They can be round or bicone. That will make about a 15.5-inch necklace, which is 16 inches with the clasp. And so if you want the necklace longer, you just need to add more crystals, about 1 crystal each per inch. You're also going to need 2 colors of super duos, a main color and an accent color. And you're also going to need 11/0 and 8/0 Toho seed beads, as well as jump rings and a clasp. So let's get started. I'm using a size 10 needle with 6-pound fire line, and I'm going to start by threading on a main color super duo, an 11/0, an 8/0, and an 11/0, and I'll string that on. Then I want to go back up through all of those beads to form a loop. And once I've pulled that tight, I can tie a knot. Then I want to go back up through the super duo, switch this over so that it's facing down. Then I'll go up through the other hole of the super duo. I add 2 11/0 seed beads, and I'll go down the other hole of the super duo. Then I'll go back up the other hole of the super duo again. Next, I'm going to string on an 11/0 seed bead, 3 of the accent color super duos, another 11/0 seed bead, a main color super duo, and 11/0 seed bead. And I always check both holes of the super duos before I thread them on. So I'm going to thread that on. Then I want to go back through the other hole of the accent color super duo. And when I pull that tight, kind of makes a T here. And at this point, I want to make sure my accent color super duos are facing the right way. So if yours looks like that, just flip the middle one up. add another accent color superduo and go through the bottom hole of this superduo. Then I add one 11-0 seed bead, and I want to go up this hole of the first superduo, the main color. At this point, I want to go through this row here, so the seed bead here, and the next 3 accent colors, and the next seed bead kind of along the top here. Seed bead, 3 superduos, and seed bead. Then I want to go down the left hole of this main color superduo and up the other hole. Next, and this is the part that's going to repeat. So there's many steps that repeat here. This is the first one. It's an 11-0, an 8-0, a 6mm crystal, an 8-0, an 11-0 main color superduo, and an 11-0. And string that on. At this point, you want to go back through the 8-0 crystal and 8-0, and pull that tight. And as you pull that tight, you kind of want to make sure that this one is oriented correctly on this side. And so we just kind of flip it into place. We add one more 11-0 seed bead. Actually, I flipped it over. This is the top. You want to go up through this superduo. And as you pull it tight, it should look like that. Add 2 seed beads and go down through the other hole of this superduo. And here's where we're going to make the garland part. Add 3 11-0s and a main color superduo. String that on. Then you want to go through the other hole of that superduo. Pull that tight. And then you want to go back up through the last 2 towards the superduo, through those 2 seed beads. And as you pull that tight, it kind of locks the superduo next to the seed beads there. Next, we kind of make what I call a pinwheel. And you put on 11-0 main color superduo, 11-0 main color superduo, and an 11-0. And always check both holes. So once we have that, we string it on. And what you'll have here is a horizontal superduo and two vertical superduos. You want to make sure that the horizontal one is below the seed bead, so if it's flipped over like this, just flip it back so it's on the bottom. And then you're going to go through the hole of that superduo and the next seed bead. There, we've kind of made a pinwheel. Now we always finish our pinwheel by adding two seed beads atop this superduo. So we add two seed beads and go down the tip of this superduo. We go back up through the other hole and go back through those seed beads to continue. We've completed one pinwheel, and we're going to repeat all those steps to make two more. We start with 3 seed beads and a superduo. String that on. Then we go through the other hole of that superduo. And up through the last 2 seed beads before that superduo. We add a seed bead, a superduo, seed bead, superduo, seed bead, and we string that on. And here, the horizontal superduo, we just go through that hole and the next seed bead. We always finish off a pinwheel by adding those 2 seed beads on top. Add 2 seed beads, 11 O's, and go through the tip of that superduo. Back up through the other hole. And then through these last 2 seed beads. We've made 2 pinwheels. We're going to make one more. We add 3 seed beads and a superduo. String that on. Go through the other hole of the superduo and up through the last 2 seed beads towards that superduo. Next, we add a seed bead, superduo, seed bead, superduo, seed bead. We string that on. We go through this hole of the horizontal superduo plus the next seed bead. we always finish off our pinwheel by adding 2 seed beads on top here. So we add 2 seed beads and go through this other hole. And up through the other hole. And through the last 2 seed beads. Now we're ready to connect it with the main line here. So we add 1 seed bead and go up through the tip of this super duo. We add 2 seed beads and go down the other hole of that super duo. And back up this side of the super duo. Now we're going to make another component like this. Next, we add an 11-0, 3 accent color super duos, 11-0 main color super duo, and an 11-0. And we string that on. We go back through the other hole of the accent super duo. And that makes kind of a T there. Kind of flip around our accent colors so they are in the right position, down, up, down. Add an accent color super duo and go through the bottom hole of the first accent color. Pull that tight, add 1 more 11-0 seed bead, and go up through this hole of the main color. Now we want to go through the seed bead, 3 accent super duos, seed bead along the top here. Now we go down through this left hole and up through the right hole. We're going to make another one of these. So we'll add an 11-0, an 8-0, 6mm crystal, 8-0, 11-0, main color super duo, and 11-0. We string that on. Then we want to go back through the 8-0 crystal and 8-0. Hold the crystal and pull tight. And if this looks a little wonky, just kind of put it in place as you're pulling tight so that it sticks where it's supposed to. It sticks out this direction. Then we add 1 seed bead and go up through this right hole of the super duo. And this looks correct. Add 2 11-0s and go down through the left hole of that super duo. Now we're ready to make another garland. Add 3 11-0s and a super duo. String that on. And we go through the other hole of the super duo. Pull that tight, and then go up through the last 2 seed beads towards that super duo. And you can slide it tight. One thing I'll mention too, don't worry so much if these flip over, because in the second row we lock them into place. So they can flip around right now as much as they want. Then we add seed bead, super duo, seed bead, super duo, seed bead. Always checking both holes when you're stringing on a super duo. String that on. Here we have our horizontal, vertical, vertical. So we want to go through this hole of the horizontal one plus the next seed bead. Pull that tight. We always finish with 2 seed beads above that super duo. Add 2 seed beads, go through the tip, back up through the other hole of the super duo, and through the last 2 seed beads along the top. Pull that tight. Ready to make another pinwheel. Start with 3 seed beads and a super duo. String that on. Go down through the other hole of the super duo and up through the last 2 seed beads towards that super duo. Add a seed bead, super duo, seed bead, super duo, seed bead, checking both holes. String that on. And with this below the seed beads, we go through, up through the horizontal super duo and the next seed bead. And we always finish off our pinwheel by putting 2 seed beads at the top here. So we add 2 seed beads and go down through the tip. back up through the other hole. And through the last 2 seed beads. Make 1 more. Add 3 11-O's and a super duo. String that on. Go through the other hole of that super duo. And up through the last 2 seed beads towards that super duo. Seed bead, super duo, seed bead, super duo, seed bead. String that on. Going through the bottom super duo, the edge of it, and the next seed bead. Add 2 seed beads, go through the tip, up through the other hole, and through the last 2 seed beads. Now that we've made 3 pinwheels, we can connect it back up to the main line. Add 1 seed bead, go up through the tip of this super duo, add 2 seed beads, go down through the other hole, and back up through the right hole. So after we've connected a garland, we always make another one of these components. So we'll start with a seed bead, 3 accent color super duos, seed bead, super duo, seed bead. We string that on. We go down through the other hole of the accent color, pull that tight, and then we make sure our super duos are facing the right way. We want this one down, up, and down. Add another accent super duo and go through the bottom hole here. Pull that tight. We add 1 seed bead and go through this hole of this super duo. Next, we want to go through the top here, through the seed bead, 3 accent color seed super duos, and the seed bead. Then we go down through the left hole, up through the right hole, now we're ready to repeat our steps to make this component as well as the garland. So we add an 11-0, 8-0, 6mm crystal, 8-0, 11-0 super duo, 11-0, and we string that on. We go back through the 8 crystal and 8 seed bead. And as we pull that tight, we just make sure this is facing the right way. Add 1 seed bead and go up through the right hole of this super duo. Add 2 11-0s and go down the left hole of that super duo. Now we start our garland. We add 3 11-0s and a super duo, string that on. You go through the other hole of the super duo and through the last 2 seed beads towards that super duo. Slide that on tight. Seed bead, super duo, seed bead, super duo, seed bead. String that on. And go through the right hole of the horizontal super duo plus the next seed bead. Add 2 seed beads, go down the tip, up through the other hole of that same super duo, and through the last 2 seed beads. Add 3 11-0s and a super duo. Go through the other hole of the super duo. And through the last 2 seed beads towards that super duo. Seed bead, super duo, seed bead, super duo, seed bead. String that on. Through the last hole of the horizontal super duo and the next seed bead. Add 2 seed beads, go through the tip of this super duo, back up through the other hole, and through the last 2 seed beads. Add 3 seed beads in a super duo, string that on. Through the other hole. Through the last 2. Add a seed bead, super duo, seed bead, super duo, seed bead. String that on. Through the other hole of that horizontal super duo and the next seed bead. Add 2 seed beads, go through the tip and up through the other hole. And through the next 2 seed beads. We've done 3, so now we can connect it back to the top. Add 1 seed bead and go up through this super duo. Add 2 seed beads, go down through the other hole and up through the right hole. You just repeat these steps, and you want to end on this component, and I'll show you how to end that row and start the next one. So you want to continue garland, diamond, garland, diamond, garland, diamond, and end on a diamond. You'll want to make 12 of these garlands for a 16-inch necklace, or more if you want a longer necklace. So I'll continue this pattern 9 more times and end with a diamond. Then I'll show you how to end that row and start the next. So as I'm going through the first row, I ran out of thread, so I'll just show you how to connect a new thread. I have a new thread here to start, and I just tie a square knot. And then with the ends, the 2 ends here, I take a lighter. This is a torch style lighter, but you could use any lighter, and just touch the edge. So I should feel like a little ball on the end of each thread. And then I just pull it tight, and hopefully this knot here is small enough to go through my 11 O's and allow me to continue. Okay, I just made my last diamond after my 12th garland component, and so now I'm going to end this first row and start the second. I've just gone through the diamond, the top of the diamond here, and I'm coming out this seed bead. So now I'm going to add 2 seed beads and go down through the tip. I'll add an 11, an 8, and an 11 seed bead, and I want to go back through the tip in the same direction. I'll go through those 3 seed beads one more time. 1, just to reinforce that. 2, and 3. Pull that tight. You want to make sure that large seed bead sticks up. That's where the jump ring will go through. So I hold that and pull. Now I want to continue through these top of these seed beads, through the super duos, through the next seed bead, and then down this super duo. So I'm coming out of this seed bead. I'm going to go through the next 3. And then through the next 3 super duos along the top. Going through the first 2 on this one. And the third one. And the next seed bead. Okay, now that I'm coming out of this seed bead, I want to go down the super duo and continue through as many seed beads as I can get through. Going through 4 there after the super duo. I want to continue following the seed beads around until I'm coming out of this seed bead right here. So I'll continue through as many seed beads as I can get through. And keep going. And now I'm coming out of that seed bead right there. Okay, here's where I'm going to flip it over so that, put my thread through this way, so that I can continue this second row going this way. Now that I'm coming out of this seed bead, I want to go through the super duo and the next seed bead. So I go through this super duo, and the next seed bead. Now I want to put 2 seed beads on top of this super duo. I add 2 seed beads and go through the tip, back up through the other hole, and through those 2 seed beads I just added. And here is where we're going to add the 4mm crystal drop here. And also what we're doing is locking these in from flipping over. So I add 2 11/0s, a 4mm crystal, and 1 more 11/0. I string that on. And I go back up through the crystal and the next seed bead. Then I add 3 seed beads, and I go through the inner hole of this super duo on the next garland. Then I go through the other hole of that same super duo, and then through the last 3 seed beads and the next super duo. Thankfully, the second row goes a lot quicker than the first. To get ready for the next drop, I'm going to go all through all of these seed beads along the top here, and coming out on the middle seed bead of this pinwheel. So I start coming out of this super duo, going through that seed bead there and continuing on. And now I'm coming out of the seed bead that's part of this pinwheel here at the other side of the garland component. Okay. So here I go through this hole of the super duo and the next seed bead. I add 2 seed beads, go through the tip of this super duo, back up through the other hole, and down through the last 2 seed beads I just added. I add 2 11-ohs, a 4mm crystal, and an 11-oh. String that on. Go back up through the crystal in the next seed bead. Add 3 seed beads. And we go through this top hole of this super duo. Back through the other hole. And up through 1, 2, and then 3 seed beads plus the super duo. Okay. Now again, I want to go through, starting with this seed bead, go through all these seed beads until I'm coming out of this one. So now I'm coming out of the seed bead I want. Flip this back around. Now I want to go through the bottom hole of that super duo and the next seed bead. Add 2 seed beads, go through the tip of this seed bead, super duo, back up through the other hole, and down the last 2 seed beads. Add 2 seed beads, 4mm crystal, and a seed bead. String that on. Go back up through the crystal and the next seed bead. Add 3 seed beads and go down through the top hole of that super duo. Back through the other hole. And up through the 3 seed beads plus the super duo. So basically you just continue this all the way to the other end. Okay, I've just finished my last drop here, and I've continued all around these seed beads, and I'm currently coming out of that seed bead. So what I want to do is, the necklace is pretty much finished. I just want to kind of weave it back through and tie it off. So I'm going to continue up these seed beads through this super duo and across this top. Maybe go through this loop once before I tie it off with the original thread I started with. So here I'm going to just continue up the next 3 seed beads, and super duo. Now I'm going to go through this seed bead and the 3 super duos, maybe I'll start with the seed bead and the next super duo. Try to go through the next 2 super duos. And then through the seed beads along the top here. Going through 2 at first. Two more. Then through the large seed bead. Through the next seed bead. And through the super duo, so that I'm coming out of the same place my thread started. So now we're both coming out of that super duo. I'm going to thread this under so that it's on the same side. So now we're coming out of the same super duo, same side, same hole, and I can tie a knot. So now we just snip the ends and add the clasp. Alright, I've snipped the ends, and so now I'm ready to take my jump ring and open it. I'll feed it through the large seed bead at the end, and then add the clasp. And close it. Then I take my other end, I open my jump ring, and feed it through the large seed bead. And close it. And now we have a working clasp. And that is the finished necklace.